weren't going to die from an overdose, clean needles, so no more HIV, no more hepatitis C, no more having to be a prostitute to pay for it, no more guns involved in violence, trying to get the money procured in it. Chief of Police from Zurich shows up in Albuquerque. He said when they came out with this program in Zurich, I could not have been more opposed to this, nor could all of my friends in law enforcement. Death, disease, crime, corruption was going to skyrocket in Zurich. I'm here because Zurich is a much better place to live today. That all of the things that they said would happen have happened, and I'm here to advocate on the part of that, and citizens of Zurich voted to re-up on this program. So it's going to start with marijuana legalization. The world isn't going to end. Police are going to actually go out and enforce real crime tomorrow as opposed to non-violent victimless crime. Change America for the better. Monetary policy in this country. Holy cow, that is a rigged game. Federal Reserve printing money at 0%, giving it to the banks at 0%. Do we get the money at 0%? No, we don't get any of it because what they're doing is they're just keeping these massive portfolios alive that would otherwise be dead. Federal Reserve is printing money now to the tune of $85 billion a month, buying up who knows what, buying up our own treasuries. I mean, it's a closed loop. Short term, with a central bank printing money to cover all of our bills, looks pretty rosy. Long term, this is negative. This is not good. This has to be fixed. And long term, what is long term? 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years? There's going to be inflation that results from printing money to the tune right now of 30 cents out of every dollar that we're currently spending. So, you know, this is a wave of cash that we're all surfing, and it's a wave of cash, and it's artificial. It's going to peter itself out, but we've got to fix it. And I can't believe it hasn't imploded to this point, but it hasn't. And the implosion is going to be that the dollars we have don't buy a thing because of the accompanying inflation that goes along with this. Now, people ask me, well, gee, I don't have a lot of money. What can I... Oh, and then the wealth gap has also increased dramatically. It's because the people that have assets have been able to ride this out. People with no assets, it's just become a wider and wider gap. So we need to fix this, and we need to fix this now, and to fix it we need to balance the federal budget now, and you can't balance the federal budget if you're not willing to talk about entitlements, and if you're not willing to talk about cutting military spending. So the military needs to be cut by 30%. We're spending more money on the military than all the other countries in the world combined, and we're only 8% of the world's population. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Is China a real threat? They're buying up our treasuries, and yet yet we're going to bomb them. We're going to go to war with them. I mean, really, there is no threat anywhere. We should be vigilant to the terrorist threat, but these interventions have resulted in nothing but a negative consequence. So, cutting the military by 30%. Social Security. Social Security is a program that is absolutely savable. Okay? It is a problem that is pale in comparison to Medicaid and Medicare. Social Security, I am advocating the fair tax, so no more deduction for Social Security out of your check, nor would be an employer match. That would come out of the proceeds of the fair tax. But Social Security, very quickly, raising the retirement age. It's something that needs to happen. When Social Security was established in the mid-30s, the average age of an American was like 57 years old, and they established it at 65. Well, nobody's going to live to 65. Using that same ratio today, I mean, retirement age should be 82. Well, maybe not 82, but how about something higher than what it currently is? Then I think you could have a very fair means testing for Social Security. How much money do you make? How much money did you pay in? Should you get more money back than what you paid in? And then back to the fair tax, that becomes kind of a moot issue if all the proceeds for Social Security comes out of comes out of a federal consumption tax, and then I think you should have an opt-in, opt-out. Medicaid and Medicare, though, that's the real big drivers of the budget. Well, how do you reform Medicaid and Medicare? I think you've got to get the federal government out of the healthcare delivery business completely and devolve it to the states. Block grant the states a fixed amount of money, 30% less than what we're currently spending for the poor, Medicaid, and for Medicare, those over 65, which is currently a federal program. Block grant the states 50 laboratories of innovation and best practice, and that's exactly what you will have. You'll have some fabulous success that'll get emulated. You'll also have some horrible failure that'll get avoided because we're all so competitive. But if we think one size fits all, it doesn't, and that's what has us in the predicament that we're in. And the alternative to not fixing this is no health care whatsoever. It is a government that implodes, where there are no goods and services because money doesn't buy a thing, and that's a monetary collapse, and that's the road that we're headed down unless we fix all of this. Marriage equality. I support marriage equality. I think that, more importantly, I think the Constitution of the United States supports marriage equality. That this is not a state's issue, that this is a federal issue because it's a guaranteed constitutional right, on par with civil rights of the 60s. Federal government does have a role, and that's to ensure that the Constitution of the United States is upheld in all the states, and none of the states can go awry of the United States Constitution. Abortion is really a difficult issue. It's such a divisive issue. And I just think that as difficult as the issue is, that the person who should make the choice involved in the issue is the woman who is involved in the situation, period. And so I support a woman's right to choose. Immigration. Immigration is such a hot-button issue. Look, I'm a border state with Mexico. Make it as easy as possible for somebody that wants to come into this country and work to get a work visa. Not a green card, not citizenship, although that should be part of comprehensive immigration reform. But make it as easy as possible for somebody who wants to get a work visa to get a work visa. That would involve a Social Security card. That would involve a background check. We don't want criminals working in this country. And then taxes. If we implement one federal consumption tax, nobody avoids paying one federal consumption tax. Student debt. What's the main? I know a lot of you are students. I know a lot of you have incurred a lot of debt. It's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Why is college tuition so high? College tuition is so high because of guaranteed government student loans. You have no excuse whatsoever to not go on and get a degree in college no matter what it costs because you can get a guaranteed government student loan. I guarantee you if guaranteed government student loans did not exist, colleges and universities would dramatically lower the cost of tuition because they want to fill these seats. And they've been immune from that, from that free market concept. They just keep raising tuitions because of guaranteed government student loans. Somebody asked me the other day, would you sign legislation that would allow students to declare bankruptcy to forego all of their student debt? I said, well, no, I wouldn't change the rules in the middle of the game because you signed on to this. But I would sign that legislation tomorrow, and it would have the same effect. And that effect would be is that nobody's going to loan you money unless they think you can repay. It's going to result in fewer student loans. It's going to result in dramatically lower cost of tuitions. I'm going to end this up here with another bit of advice. And I want to remind you, any of my advice is worth exactly what you're paying for it. Nothing. But that is that whatever it is that you do, whatever you like to do in your life, do it entrepreneurially. Be your own boss. The rewards for this are 100-fold. And as difficult as it's going to be to start your entrepreneurial venture tomorrow, it'll never be easier than tomorrow, or 2 weeks from now, or 2 months from now, or 10 years from now. It'll never be easier. But most people procrastinate. They don't make that happen. And I just want to beseech you,